And now, it's time for a Star Trek story.
Well, here we are. Star Trek Stories, episode 10. We finally made it to the double digits, Aaron.
We're here.
I know, right?
It feels like most of a season.
Most of a season.
That's cool.
Yeah, wow. Episode 10, the Enterprise incident. Aaron, how the hell are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm amazed that we've kept it going this long. Usually when we start something creative, traditionally, we kind of fall off after like 3 or 4 episodes or whatever. But yeah, this is a...
They folded. But not today.
I feel like this is a good sign. We're still plugging along.
We only have a few episodes left in our look at classic Star Trek for Phase 1. Kind of getting down to it.
We're into season 3 of the OG.
Yep, right in the middle of season 3, the infamous season 3, and the ratings are falling and falling.
And Shatner's head is getting bigger and bigger.
Last time we watched Elan of Troyes, which
What an episode it was.
I think we found it. I think we all agreed that it was entertaining, but it was terrible.
Oh yeah, like a really bad Sam Raimi zombie movie or something like that. Like entertaining in the worst way. Yeah,
this is Evil Dead Part 1. Just terrible, but wow, so good. Fortunately, today we're watching one of the few from season 3 that's considered to be genuinely good. And I think by some, this one is considered a classic in its own right. So, yeah, hopefully we get that going for us today. But before we get to the episode in question today, of course, we have yet another guest with us here today. Aaron, who do we have in the captain's chair today?
Oh, we have a special guest, I would say. One of our oldest friends from the college days, Mr. Scott Tuckfield. Scott, how are you?
Hi guys, I'm great.
Thanks
for having me.
I'm so glad you said yes to this.
I'm delighted. Like I said to you earlier, this is pretty much exactly how I would spend a leisurely Sunday evening anyway, hanging out with you guys, watching some Star Trek, chatting.
Yeah, so we go back to college, university. Yes. I don't think we ever lived together.
No, we didn't.
But we definitely spent a lot of time together.
Yeah, we might as well have for a while there.
Yeah.
We were all kind of just hanging out in the same house and the same building of the college 24 hours a day.
I think Scott's one of the few that actually graduated, right?
I did actually graduate, yes.
You finished the thing. That's awesome.
Finished. It was awesome. I'm glad I did. It was because my money ran out. I had a scholarship that was good for 4 years, so I was like, I gotta get it done. But I also kind of regret it. Like, I wish I could have hung around another year or two.
Oh, interesting.
It was just so fun. It was so fun. Some of my very favorite people in the universe were there. And we just had a really special time there. Very creative, very productive. We got a lot of good work done. And so, yeah, it was hard to leave.
It was a peak for sure, like you said, creatively. And that group of people was just stellar. It was awesome.
We were lucky.
The fun thing with you, Scott, in our college days, I think, and just, in my current friend roster, I would say you filled this spot of being a true Renaissance man. And it's not a term I would throw around lightly. There are very talented people out there that I know, like some of the most talented people I know are my friends. But you occupy, I think, this very unique spot of a Renaissance man in the sense that you got your degree in performing arts, like acting, directing. But you also did writing. And probably most famously, you do art as well as music. Just do the whole spectrum of the whole thing.
And not just music, but like multiple instruments. Like whatever you choose to pick up, you just go for it, and you're proficient at it. It's pretty incredible. Of all the things that you're good at, would you pick a couple or one thing that you'd say you're great at or you're better than good at?
I think in think at this point, painting is on top. I've put the most effort into my painting in the last 10 years of all of my various interests. And beyond that, like, it's all just kind of a toss-up, I think. I like playing the drums, but I wouldn't say I'm a particularly great drummer. I like writing songs and recording songs, but I couldn't claim to be like a great music producer. I love acting, and it's all kind of the same thing where it's like, oh yeah, I could like enter any of these worlds and be functional and have a good time. But at this point, I think painting is the only thing I can stand behind and say, like, yeah, I'm kind of a pro at this point.
Scott, I know you are definitely a Star Trek fan.
Yeah.
And we've watched episodes over the years. But like, what is your history with Star Trek? I know you're a Next Generation fan. You've watched through all that. But just a little briefly, just your history with.
Yeah. So I'm mostly a Next Generation guy. I love the Next Generation. I've watched it several times. I remember I have fond memories of like wandering into my parents' bedroom as like a small child and seeing Captain Picard on the screen and being like, I like that guy. I don't know why. And then like in college and after college, we watched Next Generation in the party houses all the time. I love it. It was. I have very fond memories of the Next Generation in particular. I have a passing knowledge of the original series, not an expert. I've seen a handful of episodes, but it's such a different style, and I don't think it had quite gotten to its, like the intellectual, philosophical, ethical place that it got to in Next Generation. So to have gotten deep into Next Generation and then go back to the original series, I'm always a little bit like, this is fun, this is cool to see like the proto version of it, but I don't connect with it quite as strongly as I do with Picard.
Sure.
I mean, Screw.
How could you?
How could,
if you didn't grow up with it and if you weren't there in the 60s for it originally, it's like, yeah, it's
so charming in its
yeah.
way, but it's just not as refined.
Yeah, again, we've talked about this before, but like this idea that for those who, everyone has their own opinions, of course. But this idea that, Star Trek died with the original crew and everything, I'm like, I personally love them. They are my personal favorite. A lot of that is nostalgia, and I'm blindly honest about it. I wouldn't say it's Star Trek at its best or that they never improved upon it after that. That's insane to me.
It'd be crazy to say something like that.
Yeah. But speaking of the original show, that's what we're here to watch today.
I'm excited. I'm glad because it's something that I'll be less familiar with. If we watched one of the TNG episodes, I'd be like, okay, we can just fast. Like I know this. Go on, let's just talk about it. So this will be fun for me.
Yeah. I think this will be a fun one. I'll be curious to see as to what we all have to think about it. Today we're watching the Enterprise incident. This aired September 7th, 1968.
Classic.
This was the 4th episode produced for season 3, so this is still an early one from the season. Like we said earlier, there are a few from this season that are considered to be good, if even a classic. I don't know if this would make everyone's top 10 of the original Star Trek. For some, certainly. So that's probably going to be the main thing we're going to be looking at and considering with this one. Does this one really feel like a classic, or does this one have a reputation maybe bolstered by it being a good season 3 episode? Like, it's good by association to all this bad around it. Or is this a genuine classic? The other big thing with this one is that this one is probably the first one on our list that goes into some romance territory. Not
just kissy wissy, but like real.
Yeah, there's a lot of the
feels.
Kirk, Mac dadding with the ladies. Though I don't think we've seen too much of that yet on the show. I think that does get a little overblown. Kirk's I mean, it's there, but
A little bit, but yeah, and we haven't seen it so much in the episodes we've chosen.
right. I think sometimes there's probably like a pop culture perception that in every episode Kirk is sleeping with some green Orion slave girl. I'm like, no, that's not the case. But he does.
But it does happen a lot.
Yeah, it's every 3 episodes.
At least 5.
Can you imagine the biological disaster?
How does this work?
Thinking about
Kirk's progeny.
cane toads in Australia, what sort of microbes is he loosing upon the universe?
Oh God.
Oh God, yeah. Slowly creating a biological plague over time.
Yeah, we know that time travel exists in this Star Trek universe, and you're setting down on these primitive planets and just shooting phasers and stepping on plants and bugs and whatever. Yeah, who knows what you're fucking up?
Prime Directive hadn't been figured out yet.
No, it was still in the works.
They didn't give a
I feel like Kirk's Enterprise is the main reason the Prime Directive exists.
We have got to put some rules down.
we mitigate the damage Kirk has done.
No, but fortunately the galaxy's a big place and we can stop doing the things that he's done.
World says, just wipe those planets clean. It's the only way now.
Glass them.
Jim, Starfleet Command here. Hey, I've been reading your recent log entries, and wow, wild stuff. We love the exploratory spirit. Got a few things we got to talk about, though, Jim.
We need you to get a full spread of photon torpedoes down to that planet immediately.
Yeah. So there is a bit of romance in this, and like we said, Star Trek does have a bit of this genre hopping thing, and I think this is one of the first notable instances on our list. So maybe that'll be something we look at too. Is how does Star Trek do romance? At least in this one. So we'll be looking at a couple of those. This is your invitation to sit down and queue up the episode with us. You can find all the episodes on Paramount Plus. Bring up the Star Trek The Original Series, Season 3, Episode 2. And we will be back after we watch the Enterprise incident.
Regrettable that you were made an unwilling passenger. It was not intentional. All the Federation wanted was the cloaking device.
The Federation. And what did you want?
It was my only interest when I boarded your vessel.
And that's exactly all you came away with.
You underestimate yourself, Commander.
You realize that very soon we will learn to penetrate the cloaking device you stole.
Obviously. Military secrets are the most fleeting of all. I hope that you and I exchanged something more permanent.
It was your choice.
It was the only choice possible. You would not respect any other.
It will be our secret.
Well, speaking of Lord of the Rings,
Let's talk about some Star Trek.
Star Trek, my God.
Seamless.
My goodness, the Enterprise incident.
Oh man,
What an episode.
yeah. That's becoming one of the running gags of the show. I think is we have terrible segues and terrible intros and exits. We just don't know how to say hello, goodbye, or go between anything. One thing like, at all.
You know, folks, we're really meat and potatoes people.
And 10 episodes in, we haven't even talked about it, a solution for it, or anything. No, we're just gonna roll with it.
Just roll with it. Scott, initial thoughts. The Enterprise incident.
The Enterprise incident. It's quite the gambit. Like as we, I assume we're all together now, listeners. We've all seen the episode. I don't need to prevent. Okay. So yeah, the Federation sends the team on an extremely risky mission. And it doesn't even seem like the crew knows what's going on. They're keeping things locked up. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like a lot of questionable decisions got made in this episode. But otherwise, I loved it. I thought it was like a perfect slice of the original series. I think it was just like, yeah, that's kind of the essence of it. The wacky orchestra stings, the over the top like takes of shocked reactions and zoom ins, and it's just delightful.
Very delightful indeed, Aaron.
Oh, it was super fun. I would agree that it's a classic episode. I don't know if it would be among my favorite Star Trek episodes or a top 10, like you said, but it's good sci-fi. It's good Star Trek. It's got some great performances in there. The visuals are awesome. Like all the ships, seeing like the two Klingon battle cruisers and like right up next to the Enterprise and all that. It's really cool to see, especially with the remastered. But yeah, lots of positives to take away from this one, as opposed to last week. That was just a mess.
A mess.
Right?
I think this is one of those ones that's like, is this going to win any awards? No, I don't know. But is this just a wild, wacky time to sit down and have fun with Star Trek? You know, sometimes you're not always looking for like the most philosophical nugget to chew on. And even though Next Generation is the one that gets really philosophical, the original show definitely has its share of kind of questions it mulls over. But there is a lot of just wacky, wild space adventures. And while that for me isn't necessarily the biggest draw for Star Trek, can it be a lot of fun to watch? Yeah. I think that's my biggest takeaway from this one. I could watch this one 1,000 times. I feel like I can always have a fun time with it.
They do the mental battles between captains in this show really well.
Like the chess game between captains.
Kirk going up against Captain of the Week is always a really good episode, I feel like.
I guess on that note, I can get into, I guess, the A plot of this. Captain Kirk versus the Romulans. This whole big, crazy, like you said, gambit, Scott.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's like it's interesting for me to see as like I said earlier, I'm a Next Generation guy, and you know, this whole episode is based around this like sneaky gambit for Captain Kirk to steal this device off of a Romulan ship. That's a pretty ballsy and aggressive move for the Federation. It's not like, I guess it was just not one that I would expect the Federation to make. This would be like, oh yeah, we're gonna, pull this deceptive ruse and then like snatch something from their ship and run away. I was like, whoa, that's kind of a little bit sneaky,
a little bit desperate,
which, I mean, I guess in the context, times are hard. You gotta keep up with the Romulans. You gotta steal their cloaking bulb.
It is nice that it's just one little modular piece that you can just pick up and take with you.
It just slides. It just clicks out. And we were, oh my God, I can't help but laugh. You have less than 15 minutes to install this alien cloaking device.
That apparently draws all the energy from your entire ship. You're not even sure if you can handle it.
Yeah.
That little thing.
Just plug it in. It's a big bulb. You just pull it in the slot and put it in our slot. It should work, right?
I mean,
it doesn't matter that it was created by a civilization how many light years away from ours on a different evolutionary track. No, it'll just plug in. We'll just plug it into the slot.
Yeah, when you get to a certain point.
You have 14 minutes now. I'm sure you can make it work.
I'm working as fast as I can. Have you tried unplugging it and plugging it back in?
Blow in the slot.
Just there you go.
Just blow in it. It should work.
I think
worked. That did the trick.
I think this is a good example of Star Trek more often than you would like to think does veer into the campy territory.
Oh yeah, original series especially. It's just like the distilled essence of camp.
Yes,
it's as campy as camp gets. And that's why it's so much fun.
Oh, I think Doctor Who gets campier.
Oof. At least more low budget.
Yeah. It's part of the charm of Doctor Who.
Yes. Aaron, I think in comparison to last week, because we had another kind of, last week it was the Klingons and shenanigans were going on and like they ended up in like ship battles with the Klingons and everything. And then compared to this episode, this feels like that last one was campy as fuck, but not in the good sense. Just like, oh boy.
Yeah, just the way the Klingon ship was flying.
Yeah. Even though we still had a lot of fun watching it, but we were like certainly just laughing at it. Just,
right.
Oh man.
Not with it.
This I feel like is definitely more, I mean, there is still a bit of laughing at it, but this is when they get the camp right and it just works for what they're doing. And it's just the heightened drama of it all. And
it is extremely dramatic and theatrical. Lots of big eyebrows raising and zoom ins and.
I love when Captain Kirk, not William Shatner, but when Kirk gets to put on a character or a caricature of himself, it's always hysterical.
In this case, overworked, insane Kirk.
Yeah.
His little gambit at the beginning. I'll kill you. Okay. It's almost hilarious that they don't pick up that this is some kind of scam. It almost feels so telegraphed that it's like clearly they're up to something here.
Look, it's like you go with it. You go with it because it's what the episode needs you to do. But it's such a ridiculously bad plan. Yeah, it's. If your goal was deception and espionage, then good. But shouldn't everybody on the ship be like, "Hey, this is, we're about to go into this dangerous situation, and we need you to. This is the story we're sticking to." No, he just goes. He just hits the throttle and is like, "Oh, we're there. we're there already. Like, what's?"
As soon as they change course, like instantly, like 3 ships surround them. So funny.
Changing course, Captain. We're surrounded by 3 Romulan warships.
It's all right. I've got a plan.
It seemed that the success of the plan really depended on the captain falling in love with Spock, and that's a big gamble. Like that's a steep gamble for any sensible captain or Federation admiral to make.
Totally. Yeah. Did they know? They couldn't have known what captain they were about to come up against. So that was just like a happy accident that the romance even occurred.
Right. Just, this is a happy coincidence. So what was the plan if this didn't happen? We don't know.
Spock was just going to go in.
Beam the fuck out.
Spock's like, I've been taking improv classes. I can do this. I'm in the moment.
Yes, and Captain.
It kind of worked out really well for Spock.
Yeah, Spock gets a little ego stroke. He's like, "Weird, I still got it." Gets to just zoom off into the sunset.
You get to see a completely different side of his character. Like, I don't think they've gone to his human side before, but you've never really seen like how manipulative he could be potentially. Like if he bends those mind powers to that goal.
Because he's pulling a full on deception.
Yeah,
which
he's deep undercover.
Yeah, Vulcan lying thing. I don't know.
That's kind of what's one of the interesting things is comparing the two people who know what's going on are Kirk and Spock. And if you compare William Shatner's performance as Kirk in this, it's just wild and over the top, which like the plan feels like. But then Leonard Nimoy as Spock just grounds the whole thing. And like he if there is any believability in any of this, it's him as Spock in this episode. Like every scene with him, it's like, oh, yep, I believe it. Where Shatner is like, oh, okay.
Putting on this wild show for everybody. You always have to love that very still, focused, centered energy that Spock and the Vulcanism brings to the table. Has a lot of grounding energy.
Yeah, Shatner did a good job of switching back to his cool, calm, collected Kirk in the second half of the episode.
Sure,
like just back to business,
While in Romulan makeup.
Yeah.
We've got to talk about the colors. The Romulan sense of interior design is really festive. Like it is bright. Like I'm seeing bright neon pinks, bright reds, lime greens, just flowers. You'd expect the Romulans to be kind of a cold and sterile, metallic. But no, they're flashy, gaudy, spectacular.
I had that thought earlier before we watched the episode is like the Romulans in the new stuff, they're all just black and dreary and, like jet black jumpsuits and gothic looking and whatever. Like none of that you see in the Zoji show.
I don't feel like it was an intentional character development choice for the Romulans. I felt like they were trying to make it look like a spaceship in the future, and they're like, let's make it pink. I don't know. It's
well, I think some of this comes in actually into the scene where it struck me the most is when they're in the Romulan commander's quarters, her and Spock.
Her love lounge.
And I was looking at the color scheme. I'm like, passion fruit. Yeah. That's what there was a little bit of orange. But then there was kind of like a spectrum of like red to pink. I'm like, oh, it's like passion fruit. And that's kind of, I feel like the lighting on the Romulan ship specifically is maybe trying to speak to the whole thing with the Romulan commander and Spock on a thematic level. That's my guess.
Totally.
Yeah, she's kind of we joked while we were watching about the sneaky snake music, the hypnotic, seductive, entrancing power that the Romulan, and it kind of speaks to that where it's like, oh, she's the colorful, dangerous, poisonous reptile that can hypnotize you, and her lair is colorful and as well.
There's the theatrical roots too, like the classic lighting design of using jewel tones like purples and greens to show your villains. You know what I mean? And that shows up a lot with the Romulans and the Klingons.
Yeah, the colors.
Like Lex Luthor, he's always in bright purple and green. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a very pronounced effect. It's not subtle at all.
And very much in contrast to what we see later. It is very interesting. All this stuff with Spock and the commander. I feel like this is like, I guess, like the B plot, like the other kind of story going underneath all this. How do we feel it feels like there is this really campy episode going on, but then underneath it, there is this kind of like, speaking to the romance and this kind of passion between the two. And that stuff feels a little more genuine every time it's doing some of that stuff. It's a really interesting contrast.
I'm not sure, because I'll be honest, it felt a little put on to me. Felt like, kind of like the orchestra stings. It was very like, oh, Spock, like you and your sensuous shoulders, and it is all very like flamboyant and feathery, and since we know like it's all sort of based on this ruse, I never really felt much like actual crackling of chemistry between them. I kind of felt like everyone was putting on a show for their own from their own perspectives. So I don't know if we got much into like much emotional vulnerability with Spock. I mean, Spock's always like a stone cold mofo, you know. He's, even when we get to see what we think is a little bit of vulnerability, but might just be him playing the part in this episode, he's still just like stoic and barely making an expression. You can't, you know, you never get too close. He never opens up too much.
I was going to say, I think maybe the grounded part of it comes from, it looks like and kind of feels like the actors relished these lines and these moments that they got to portray. Maybe especially Leonard, who always has to be so calm and collected, logical. He got to play a little bit, so maybe that's where that's coming from.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, I think I agree, Scott, but more in the sense of, because for me, the chemistry of the two actors does come across, but it's the writing behind it does give me question, though.
Yeah, that's
because I think the two of them work really well together, and I think they play off each other really well, and they make it really fun to watch. But I think if you just stop and think about what's really going on here, is kind of when some of it falls apart.
Yeah, it doesn't actually make that much sense in this situation of espionage, trying to steal a piece of technology to be kind of, you know, having some flirtatious back and forth. I kind of disagree with what I'm saying as I say it, because he's got to play it cool. He's got to put on the face. He's got to be undercover, and if that means, you know, seducing the captain and being a little bit more human and pretending to be more emotional, or actually being more emotional, you know, I don't know that we can really be sure.
Yeah, it's like he says he has to be honest. He can't lie. And if like, what if, and he does say at the end, when I came aboard the ship, you know, my goal was just the cloaking device. But like, kind of insinuating that after, though,
yeah,
there was some real stuff. And it's like, is he lying, or is he actually dropping his guard? Like, to be honest in the situation, he's not speaking to the actual mission of the Enterprise, but he drops his emotional guard, and that's what he does, and which is genuine. He's like, I do actually. There is kind of, you're sexy and wow, and I think, you know, for me, the Romulan commander though is sometimes where I have the questions. It's like, but you honestly didn't see through any of this.
Yeah, it's ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous. He just was able to unplug the bulb. They left him, like, his eyebrows and ears, and he was like, and he was in. Everyone was fooled. He unplugged the bulb and beamed out. You couldn't get away with that on a Romulan starship.
Come on, that's like
Not in the 24th century.
Not. They said he fooled the doctors with the death grip. That's how. I've got to ask some questions about that. Like, so by all physiological measures, he was dead for several minutes. Right? Is that what that means?
I think that's what that means. I think it means that Kirk also trusts McCoy that much to bring him back.
Yeah, and that he trusts Spock to just apply enough pressure to kill him for 5 minutes, but be able to be
So much.
revived.
It was like a Rube Goldberg machine. Like so much had to go right for this plan to succeed.
A random chance had to fall into place. Like hopefully we'll be able to pick you up after he death grips you. Mm-hmm. We're just trusting that they'll believe you,
And that the Romulans won't question anything. Like, oh, okay. I always think of that.
we'll just leave the body with you and walk away.
Yeah. What's that? Have you guys seen The Good Place? Where it's like,
yeah.
Okay. No follow-up questions.
Exactly. It's built in a way where it makes for like really fun dramatic moments, but if you look at it too hard, you're like, wait a second, like none of this would. This is a terrible plan.
if anything, the rest of the bridge crew is that they fulfill that role. They're like, what is going on?
Why would you do this?
What are you doing and why?
But it's one thing to consider is that in this episode, we witness a historical moment for the Federation, the acquisition of cloaking technology. That's huge. And it was this like slapstick burglar routine by Captain Kirk.
This wild heist episode is almost what this is, but just the most outrageous heist you could imagine. This is going to work how? We don't know.
Captain Kirk's going to have to talk his way out of it at every turn. And we think it'll work. We've seen him talk his way out of some serious shit in the past. So I think as the Federation, we can trust this.
As writers.
Just drive straight into the neutral zone. This is how the first step of the plan. Just drive straight in. Just get surrounded.
I feel like the idea is good. Like, we want an episode where Kirk and gang go in to steal the cloaking device from the Romulans. I feel like that's a solid concept. But then the journey that we actually take to get to the end of the episode is, it's insane.
It's silly.
And Star Trek does that a lot. Like,
oh, yeah. And so much of it is built around this idea that we as the audience don't know what Kirk is actually doing. Like, we're not sure if he's actually just lost his marbles, and we know he hasn't. It's Captain Kirk. Like, he's not dying. They're not killing him off in the middle of season 3, episode 2. We know that much.
I think he'll be okay.
But it's like, I feel like it could have gained some more mileage if we just knew what the goal was, and you had to sort of navigate the obstacles. Like, oh, there's some guard ships we have to get past, or there's some. But instead, it's kind of splits its focus, and it's like, oh, it's this ironic mystery where the audience doesn't really know what's going on until 2/3 of the way through, and this heist. And so the whole thing ends up being just kind of more of an exercise in writing than like a believable scenario in the evolution of the Galactic Federation.
Yes. I guess we should talk about the writer of this. This is our 3rd episode written by DC Fontana. Yeah. She had previously written Friday's Child, which we were like, ugh, and Journey to Babel, which we were positive on. I guess the inspiration from this came from the Pueblo incident. And this involved the capture of an American patrol boat, the USS Pueblo, by North Korean forces. This kind of like naval intelligence ship that the North Koreans captured. So it was based on a very topical thing that happened that year, 1968. So it was a thing that was very topical to that year. And she got the idea to like, what if we did something like that? So I think that speaks to like that the concept. It's a fun concept.
Do you know what happened with the American ship that got captured? Did they intentionally get captured?
No, I think this was an unintentional capture, and I don't know a lot about this incident. I think it was a situation where the North Koreans actually captured it in international waters and then claimed a big victory for themselves.
Gotcha.
I don't really know. I couldn't speak to much more than that, though.
But how did the ship get caught with their pants down? That's what I'm curious about. You know what I mean? They actually got captured and taken by forces instead of sunk. That's fascinating.
Yeah, it also makes you think, like, to us, we can see this as a script written for a television show and be like, oh, that wouldn't work. But crazy shit like this has happened over and over in history where, wild gambits have paid off. And, the choices of a few individual people, made huge consequences for the masses. And so maybe it's not quite so far-fetched after all. Maybe that's my thought.
Yeah, maybe it was something like that. I doubt it. There was a forbidden romance between the commander of the North Korean ship and the captain of the USS Playboy. We can believe that.
We capture them, but I'm just so in love with you. Oh no, I've just let this situation get completely out of my control. My feelings.
There's some incredible fight scenes in this episode. Some real incredible fight choreography. I loved the Vulcan death grip, the little chicken arm over the face, and the rictus of pain is there's some kicks. Captain Kirk does some serious kicking.
Some neck chops.
Guys out. Neck chops are always a reliable go-to for knocking a guy out.
One or two phaser parries, like when they draw and they go to aim and the guy's like, no, you're not aiming at my face today, and then you catch him with the left cross. Yeah.
That whole sequence when Kirk kind of sweet talk / judo chops a few Romulan guards on his way to the
Centurion.
I've just effected an escape from the Federation ship. Return to your station. Well, okay. I'm just checking on the cloaking device just to make sure there's no Federation spy like myself walking about. What was that?
Good thing there's no one watching this room for 3 minutes while I unplug the bulb.
Yeah,
One guard.
It's the most valuable piece on the whole ship. One or two guys are kind of loosely guarding it and not even just like, hey, who are you? Oh, okay. You still seem a little fishy. Oh.
Hubris on the Romulans' part. Like, there's no way they're going to sneak aboard and steal this. No way.
No way.
I know it's a you can't really get over it with and make a TV show at the same time, but it always kind of makes me chuckle that Captain Kirk or any of these guys can beam onto a Romulan starship and just just speak English. Like, oh yeah, I know how to speak Romulan well enough that you are fooled. It's
just the universal
there's
translator.
Just a lot of conventions that are really charming.
Like, does the translator like change the movement of your mouth too?
Yeah,
like,
matches the lip movements.
Right.
It's the universal translator. Mm-hmm.
Or is it like a really bad dub? Like Captain's mouth keeps moving after the Romulan sentence is ended.
You're not actually. What?
Hey.
That would be distressing to see when you're not expecting it. Mm-hmm. Somebody's mouth just kind of moving out of sync. Scary.
I feel like that's coming, augmented reality wise, in the next 20 years or so.
Yeah,
like with the Google Translate tech and all that stuff.
With
That would be
like
nice.
a brain implant, though. This is kind of like, we're going to put that in your ear, and now you can just kind of see and hear, and it all just sounds like what you think it should sound like.
That'd be kind of nice. To like remove language barriers and go anywhere. You could just talk to people.
Yeah, that would be cool.
It would also be kind of sad. It's pretty magical to not be able to talk to people.
That is true too. There's something about going and getting totally lost in a language and in a place that you don't know or understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what the Romulan language would sound like. Jaron.
Like that.
Yeah.
I think you got it. First try and everything.
First try. We've had a lot of Klingon episodes up to this point, and this is the first time I think we've seen the Romulans since the first time we saw them.
Yeah, with that great episode,
Balance of Terror. Which is almost the opposite, because that one is them doing an incursion on Federation space, and this one is clearly the Federation doing an incursion in Romulan space.
Very aggressive.
Very aggressive. They just go in there and do it. And I think up to this point, Aaron, as far as everything we watched, I think the Romulans are right now 100% more, at least entertaining and interesting than the Klingons are at this point.
They're like the big bad of the OG show. The Klingons are there, and the Klingons end up becoming this huge cultural part of the show that everybody knows. But the Romulans are number one.
They feel like a little bit of a bigger deal. And just in general, even when something as campy as this, they do feel like really fun villains. Somehow I think the whole Roman thing, it's as silly as it is, it kind of works. This, the Federation is this, altruistic organization, and the Romans are that kind of vestige of, like we talked about before, it's like the Federation is almost like an idealized idea of the United States. Whereas and one of their big adversaries is this space version of the Roman Empire, which feels like a precursor that, that gave ideas to the United States. So it's almost like looking at the past as like, this is kind of what we used to be. We're this great empire. Whereas the Federation now is like, oh, we're egalitarian now. And
it makes a lot more sense to me that the Roman Empire went to space than like whatever the Klingon Empire is based on went to space.
Right.
I don't know.
Expand or die.
Right.
That makes a lot of sense for this person this alien you'd run into out in space. That makes sense. Whereas the Klingons seem a little bit more at this point vague.
Right.
They just they're showing up just to kind of in the background be like, take that, Federation.
And they end up
right. They kind of feel like pirates almost. Swarthy pirates.
They end up becoming like this great warrior culture in the TNG age. But even then, it's like, how did that race make it to space? How did they not just completely kill each other off?
It's questionable.
I always thought about it as a kid. It's like, how did these guys discover warp drive and stuff? But the Romulans, it makes sense.
Right.
It seems like, of course, that we would find these people out in space.
Oh, yeah. Ruthless Imperials. Just expand.
Just the ultimate imperialist, but also kind of like, they're kind of also xenophobic. They think they're great. To be Rome is to be great. Like, there is this kind of self-importance about it. I don't know if it'd be exactly a racial thing, but it is this idea that you are just part of the superior people. And then the Federation is kind of more this diverse.
It's more of a union
thing. These two kind of ideas going head to head. Even so, I think even when the ideas are campy, it's fun to see these kind of, they feel both very like philosophical stand-ins for these kind of ideas, just kind of going bam, 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 bam,
Yeah, it's rooted in something deeper under the surface that will kind of grow and blossom and become more complex as the decades roll on for Star Trek. But yeah, I loved it. I think it was a fun slice of what we go back to the original series for. It was over the top. It was a little silly. It was campy as all hell. And there was a lot of seductive raised eyebrows and zoom ins and orchestra stings. So I don't know what more you could ask for. I feel like it hit all of the marks for the OG series for me. I guess we didn't see any Kirk seduction.
No.
That
Yeah, it was Spock.
Notably absent. Spock stepped up and put on the smolder for the ladies.
No red shirt deaths either.
No red shirt deaths.
Some Centurion or some subordinate Romulan knockouts.
Some severely bruised shoulders.
Yeah, and egos. We're supposed to be 3 times stronger than these guys. Kirk kicked my ass.
Didn't see him coming. Just kicked me right in the shoulder, and I was unconscious.
My fatal weakness.
Yeah, you know, if we're going back to what we were talking about before the episode, if like I think you hit it right on the head, Scott. Like just all these disparate elements that when you think of Star Trek, the original series, not necessarily at its best or at its worst, but just like, yeah, that's when I think of that old 60s Star Trek TV show, something like this comes into my head. And so for talking to our thing earlier, this idea of like a synthesis of aspects coming together to create, this is kind of what this looks like. Again, even if this isn't the most notable version of it, it's like, yep, you can really quickly identify. It's like all the different aspects that make this the fun ride that it is.
It's not the most famous example, but it is like practically a perfect example. It has the flavor, it has the style, it has that charm about it. And it's a fun journey back to get to take a look at it after not seeing any of the older ones for a while. It has a lot of charm about it.
For sure. An all-time classic? I don't know if I would put it on that.
Yeah, I can't honestly vote yes for that.
It is one of the episodes of all time.
It is one of the
all
episodes of all time.
If you're specifically delving into the original show, then I'd put this much higher on a recommend. Like, oh, you'll have fun with this.
Yeah, I could see that within an original series.
Yeah.
This is a good one.
But if I'm going to recommend
all of Star Trek, this is going to be fairly down the list.
Yeah, if you're going to like someone who's never seen it, give me 5 episodes to watch. I don't think I would do this one.
No, that would just be mean.
Mean. Oh, it's so bad.
You know what this episode is good for is if you had like a nerdy date, like a first date or a first hangout over at your house or something, and you were gonna watch a show. This would be a perfect episode for that.
Yeah. So it's a deep cut. you don't, you put on Trouble with Tribbles, and it's like, okay, I've encountered that one before. That's one of the greatest hit skim versions. This is like, I honestly had never seen this episode before, never once. So it was a deeper cut for me. It's a good exploration into the older series if you haven't gone deep into it.
Well, there you go. Yeah, certainly not a bad episode, and definitely one just to kind of encapsulate just the whole vibe of that whole show. A good one to kind of do that. Well, awesome. Well, Scott, thank you for coming aboard and watching some Star Trek with us.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. I had a lovely evening.
Oh, so good to have you.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's good to see you guys.
A very special treat for us, and we hope we'll have you back sometime.
Please, yeah, let me know.
Yeah.
I'll clear my calendar.
Woo!
Woo!
Well, thanks for listening, everyone. that was our little look at the Enterprise incident.
What do we got next week?
Next week, we're going to be looking at our final episode of the original 60s show, at least for this phase of the show.
Wow. Nice.
We're coming to the end of this initial journey that we have started.
Ending on 11. That's a good number.
Yep, episode 11. So we're going to be watching Is There in Truth No Beauty? Is there in truth no beauty?
It's a mind twister.
Title and a
Tongue
half.
twister, yeah. Gotta ponder that.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one to kind of leave off on. Like, this is when the show was kind of going downhill and they were really trying to just do something interesting. And this is one of those ones that's an interesting, oh boy. Like, and it's hard to describe.
Great. Can't wait for it.
So, yeah, will we end on a high note, a low note, a who the hell knows what this was even about note?
Hopefully it'll give us a lot to talk about. You know, content is always nice.
For sure. All right, so we hope to see you then for Is There in Truth No Beauty? And we hope you have an answer to that question if the episode doesn't come up with it itself.
And we hope you have a super day, too.
Yeah, a super, super day. Well, as always, I'm Jaron Hatch.
I'm Aaron Cole.
Hey, I'm Scott Tuckfield.
And you just listened to a Star Trek story. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thanks for listening. If you'd like to share your own Star Trek story or give us a hot take on the episode we just watched, you can join the conversation by visiting our Discord server. You can find us by clicking on the link in the show description.